Rain this morning off towards our west, staying dry here in the valley for now, but that won't be the case all day long. Patchy fog this morning could cause the issue on the ride to work this afternoon. An isolated shower is possible. As far as that forecast today, expect a lot of cloud cover. Don't expect too much rain until after maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. Rain chances pick up as we head on into the evening and overnight tonight. There's a look at rain timeline. Much more likely after 6 o'clock. We'll break down how much you could expect in your backyard and the full forecast just a few minutes away.
Brandon, thanks so much. Now for the very latest information on the widespread impacts of the coronavirus.
Yeah, as the number of confirmed cases rises, the latest numbers are jarring. Currently, there are more than 3,000 confirmed coronavirus cases. At least 22 of those are here in Alabama. So far, there is only one case in the Tennessee Valley, and that is in Limestone County. And more than 60 deaths are linked to the coronavirus across the U.S.
And this morning, many businesses and schools across our area are closed, of course, due to the concerns over the coronavirus. Here are just a few of the closures.
Yeah, Morgan County's Senior Center, Madison City, Albertville City, and Guntersville City schools. We do have a full list of closures that can be found at the bottom of your screen scrolling throughout the morning, and they can also be found on the 48 News app.
And shifting our coronavirus coverage now to our nation's capital.
Yeah, today President Trump plans to take part in 2 video teleconferences on the virus. President Trump and G7 leaders will discuss a coordinated action plan in response to the coronavirus. This meeting comes after President Trump declared a national emergency. Now, following this, President Trump will hold another video conference with governors to come up with a strategy to combat the crisis.
And back here in the Tennessee Valley today at noon, Madison County leaders are expected to hold a news conference. At that time, they will update you on their coronavirus response plans.
Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle and Madison Mayor Paul Finley will be holding those conferences, with both calling for a state of emergency. Now, both city councils would need to approve this measure. It would give city leaders more tools to combat the pandemic. And of course, we'll bring you continued coverage of this news conference starting at noon.
Happening elsewhere in the Tennessee Valley, 1 o'clock, 1 this afternoon, the DeKalb County EMA will be holding a meeting about the coronavirus, and the mayor of Florence also will be doing the same an hour later at 2 p.m. We'll bring you complete coverage of all of those events.
Well, smashing the gavel in Madison County.
The county's probate court released a statement suspending all scheduled non-emergency hearings and proceedings. They'll be suspended until further notice. Starting today, all court operations are closed to the public, and the county courthouse itself is closed. Passport applications and notary applications are also suspended.
Well, covering the classroom now. Class will be in session today at Decatur City Schools. Due to coronavirus concerns, absences, though, won't count against the students. Wednesday, all public and private schools are closing to help stop the spread of any sickness. Decatur students will be working in an online classroom. Now, during this time, school leaders are asking for your understanding and your patience.
You know, we just ask that the public understand and be patient as we work through this. We want to make decisions for what is best for our students, for our staff, and for our community. And that's going to vary for each community and for each school system.
So students won't go hungry during this time away from school. Food services will be provided at each school cafeteria from 10:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. On Wednesday, food service will be provided at 7 school locations, and those locations will be announced later.
All right, how many people did you have at your last party? Was it 25, maybe 50, even more people?
Well, the CDC is calling for you to cancel or postpone all gatherings of more than 50 people, at least for the next 8 weeks. Experts say social distancing is needed to curb the spread of the virus. These new guidelines would apply to everything from conferences to weddings. The CDC says travelers could unknowingly spread the virus to you.
New information this morning, just into our newsroom, more than 100 million Americans are at higher risk if they're infected with the coronavirus.
Yeah, health officials say people over the age of 60 are more likely to develop medical complications. This is also true for people with certain pre-existing medical conditions, including heart disease, cancer, pulmonary disease, or diabetes.
And this is also having a major impact on restaurants across the Tennessee Valley. One of those businesses is Josie's Restaurant. You see it here in Decatur. Due to the coronavirus outbreak, the staff has decreased after the state stopped work release inmates from working at this business. That means others are doing more to keep the business alive.
What keeps us going is determination, hard work, you know, taking care of our customers, making them feel at home, making them feel like their local place is theirs.
Many places like Josie's are looking for volunteers during this time period. If you'd like to help, you can find out more information on the 48 News app.
And right now, many businesses are looking at scaling back their hours. Some have even closed altogether.
But some places like Huntsville Utilities, they can't stop serving customers a very important service.
Yes, WAFF 48's Caroline Clapp talked with their community relations director to tell you what you need to know. Caroline, good morning.
Good morning, Haley and Trent. Huntsville Utilities sends employees into people's homes every day for things like fixing power outages and setting up new homes with electricity. This is why Joe Gertis says now is more crucial than ever to practice cleanliness. Things like gas leaks must be dealt with, pandemic or not. Gertis says right now employees are being coached on social distancing, so some popular services that aren't essential might be put on hold. This includes energy audits. Gertis tells me these are very popular. This is when an employee does tests on the home in hopes of lowering a customer's energy bill. But Gertis says he is considering suspending this service until the threat passes, since it's not essential.
That's a close contact situation, and also you're putting an employee into the customer's home. Well, there's a lot of opportunity for exposure both for the customer and the employee in that situation.
Also wants to remind you there are multiple ways to pay your bill without coming into a contact with another person, both through the mobile app or with an automatic payment. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Caroline Clapp for WAFF 48 News.
All right, Caroline, thank you. Working to protect your family. If you need to fly in the near future, you'll be able to take 4 times more hand sanitizer through airport security, as the TSA is now allowing you to bring 12 ounces of sanitizer in your carry-on bags. The agency says this is part of an effort to help people simply clean their hands better. The policy will stay in place indefinitely.
And the coronavirus outbreak could change Decision 2020's timeline. Alabama Secretary of State John Merrill is discussing postponing the March 31st runoff election. The biggest item on the ballot, the Republican runoff for U.S. Senate between Tommy Tuberville and Jeff Sessions. The winner will take on Democratic Senator Doug Jones. Now, if you're concerned about voting in person, you still have time to apply for an absentee application. Those are due March the 26th. And North Alabama's congressmen both voted in favor of a major bill on Saturday aimed at helping Americans get through this crisis with financial help. We did talk to Congressman Robert Aderholt about this pandemic, and 48's Eric Graves joins us now with what he had to say.
Hey, Haley, over the weekend, Congress did pass that bill that would give more access, expanded access to free testing, as well as more money for food aid and extended sick leave benefits. Both Mo Brooks and Robert Aderholt were in support of that bill, This week, it's the Senate's turn to pass the legislation on their side. Representative Aderholt says he believes the right moves are being made to be safe. He says while it's not the best situation that schools are closing down, he defers to the experts and says we all need to heed their warnings. He says hopefully all the closings going on will slow the spread. Right now in Alabama, there are 22 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Aderholt says we're only going to see that number go up.
Obviously, those numbers are going to climb because of the fact that we're doing more testing, and as we do more testing, there'll be more people that will have positive results.
Aderholt did say you should take what public health officials are saying to heart and make sure you're washing your hands, practicing social distancing, and not going anywhere if you're feeling sick. Reporting live, I'm Eric Graves, WAFF 48 News.
Well, this outbreak is rapidly developing, so for continued coverage on the newest up-to-the-minute information, make sure to download the 48 News app. There is a whole section devoted to the latest coronavirus developments. Well, covering the shoals now, we are
really dealing with any slowdowns at this point because of it. It may be a little hit or miss this afternoon. Dry, but mostly cloudy. As we stay throughout the day today, it'll be mostly cloudy, but I do expect a little sunshine that could bring in the upper 60s. What's it mean for the rest of the week? And will we hit the 80-degree mark? Yeah, that's a possibility. I'll have your answer on that in just a few minutes.
See you then, Brandon. Thank you this morning. The number of coronavirus cases continues to rise. The latest U.S. numbers, let's get to those right now. More than 4,000 cases across the country, linked to more than 80 deaths. Leaders with Huntsville Hospital say 33 people are waiting on coronavirus test results, as the number of confirmed cases in Alabama is still at 29. To help reduce the number of patients the hospital is seeing, plans are finalized to open a fever and flu clinic in the medical district. Of course, we'll continue to update you on all of this throughout the day.
And events like weddings and parties are being canceled left and right. This as President Donald Trump suggests no one surrounds themselves with more than 10 people at a time. We did catch up with Huntsville-based DJ Lachey B, and she says just in the last month, 4 events have either been canceled or postponed. And while she has a main job, spinning as a side hustle matters to her bottom line.
I also had a huge event that I had planned for the community, the prom dress drive, and of course we were postponed.
If there's a situation where there is a funeral or even wedding or some other event, I think it's very important to assess your personal risk in terms of your own health, to assess your capability to travel.
And Dr. Karen Landers with the Alabama Department of Public Health reminds us all of social distancing. She says it's about your health and theirs.
And as President Trump and leading health officials are pushing that social distancing, many of us looking for ways, though, to get out of the house. A little stir crazy. Businesses are playing it safe, though, to prevent the spread of the virus. For now, the city of Huntsville's Parks and Recreation Department is adjusting hours, only being open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. to allow workers to clean on the weekend. Team sporting events, including youth baseball and softball, are postponed until at least April the 5th.
Meanwhile, in Morgan County, parks will not be open. Neither will the Morgan County Courthouse, but you can still apply for your concealed carry permit online. The sheriff's office, along with law enforcement and corrections teams, will remain fully operational.
Starting tomorrow, the Alabama ABC Board is implementing changes to keep workers and customers safe. At the close of business today, some stores will be shutting down for a while. Others will only be open noon until 7 p.m. That's starting tomorrow. No more than 5 customers will be allowed in the store at one time. And to see a full list of the store closures and changes, you can find those on the 48 News app. Now, one thing the coronavirus is also creating right now, lots and lots of questions for people of all ages. Those questions lead to uncertainties. Uncertainties then lead to anxiety. 48's Eric Graves did, though, talk to a counselor about some coping strategies during these uncertain times. Eric, good morning.
Hey Trent, good morning to you. First things first, it's important to focus on the positives and smile a little bit right now. I talked to Monretta Vega. She's a counselor at Huntsville Psychotherapy and Counseling, and she says it is important to give focus to those positives as we continue to go through the coronavirus outbreak. Vega says she has seen an increase in anxiety in her clients as the coronavirus touches every aspect of people's lives. The spread has created big questions about things like 401ks, college educations, and where that next paycheck might be coming from, not to mention anxiety about a terrible virus spreading around the world. These questions are raising anxiety levels for a lot of people on top of already having to stay at home and change the regular schedule people have. Vega says the focus needs to be on the right now.
You want to take a moment to sit down and process what you're thinking and try to be in the moment. I know that's so difficult, but try to just be in the moment, in the day. What is it that you need right now? And as you continue to plan for what you may need right now, you may be able to plan for what you can do for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Remember, even though we are practicing social distancing, that doesn't mean we can't still go outside, go on a walk, do something, and get a breath of fresh air. That can go a long way to brightening some spirits. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Eric Graves, WAFF 48 News.
Eric, thank you. Well, just into the newsroom, Ohio Supreme Court has stepped in and decided to postpone today's primary election. Last night, a judge declined to postpone the election, and the state's health officer ignored that ruling and ordered polling places closed. And this morning, the state's Secretary of State Frank LaRose says this was the right move. The state Supreme Court agreed. The primary election will now be held on June the 2nd. And here in Alabama, Secretary of State John Merrill is waiting for an answer. He wants to postpone the March 31st runoff elections to keep you safe. Right now, Merrill is waiting to hear back from Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall. He wants to know if Governor Kay Ivey has the authority to postpone an election during a state of emergency. Merrill says if you are concerned about voting, you do have until the 26th to apply for an absentee application.
Here this morning, you'll need to wait a few months longer to bring out that Derby Day outfit. What is considered the greatest 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby, will now be run on Labor Day weekend. The 146th running of the Kentucky Derby will now happen Saturday, September the 5th instead of May 2nd because of the coronavirus concerns. It will be the 3rd time that the Run for the Roses has been delayed. The last time, 1945, due to World War II.
Well, UAB has been at the forefront of coronavirus pandemic. Doctors at the school's infectious diseases division continue to assist in developing a vaccine. They discussed a number of topics related to COVID-19, but they emphasized the process of testing for the disease. Doctors believe those people that display symptoms of coronavirus should have priority when it comes to getting tested.
We really need to know what the status is, and we really need to prioritize the tests for people who need them so that we can take the best care of them that we can.
And doctors added that people that don't display symptoms of coronavirus should avoid getting tested because those tests at this point are in short supply. And most people right now are starting to feel the stress from this rapidly changing situation. And through all of this, some women are getting ready to deliver a baby. WAFF 48's Caroline Clapp sat down with a doctor at Women for Women OBGYN to find out what moms-to-be should know during this pandemic. Caroline, good morning.
Good morning, Haley. Dr. Anne Marie Reedy tells me that pregnant women tend to have lower immune systems, so she believes their risk of contracting the virus.
It is clear, at least when you look at cameras from that fog, 53 in Huntsville. You can see a little haze, but not as bad as where it was 2 hours ago. You could barely see the lights just across the street. 58 in Florence right now, where we're seeing the worst of it. If you do have to travel this morning, fog could slow things down, so give yourself a little extra time for that. This afternoon and this evening looking breezy, but there's a small chance at some storms. I don't expect anything to really be an issue if you are traveling out there on the road. 60 for 7 o'clock. We're at 69 to 70 around 10 o'clock, and then 75 by 1. Close to 80 degrees today. If we don't hit it today, there's a good chance we hit it tomorrow as well. Rain chances pick up towards the end of the week. I've got the details on those and what it means for that weekend. We'll have that full forecast for you just a few minutes away.
Brandon, thank you very much. New this morning, a doctor in UAB's Division of Infectious Disease is the latest person in Alabama to test positive for the coronavirus. World-renowned HIV doctor Mike Sagg, who you see here, contracted the virus when he was visiting family in New York City. And since returning to Birmingham, Sagg has been in complete isolation. During an overnight tweet, he says he's doing well so far. Officials at UAB say he wanted to share his story to emphasize the importance of social distancing.
Yeah, and day by day, the number of confirmed coronavirus cases across the country continues to grow. This morning, there are more than 5,700 confirmed cases just in the U.S. 39 of those cases are in Alabama, with 2 confirmed cases right here in the Tennessee Valley. The largest chunk of the cases, 21, and those are in Jefferson County. So far, the coronavirus is being linked to at least 101 deaths in the U.S., none of which are in Alabama.
And the latest confirmed case of the virus here in the Tennessee Valley is in Madison County. The patient worked at the Fox Army Health Center on Redstone Arsenal. That pharmacy is now closed until at least next Tuesday, the 24th. Redstone Arsenal officials tell us the person last worked March 11th, and right now the employee is in self-quarantine.
And the first confirmed case in North Alabama, a Marshall Space Flight Center employee who calls Limestone County home. Since the test, access to the center is restricted to mission essential personnel only. Everyone else will work from home.
And just a few days ago, you could actually find a bracket online trying to determine which state would be the last one to have a positive test. Take a look here. There's only one state with a 0, West Virginia. That was the case until last night. Things changed.
And just moments before I was able to come on tonight and talk with you, our health officials came to me and said, now we do have our first positive confirmed. We knew it was coming. We've prepared for this, and we shouldn't panic.
And that part is key. Following this announcement, the governor closed all casinos and restricted bars and restaurants to takeout orders only. Now, shifting our focus closer to Alabama, the state on our western border, Mississippi, took a step to create social distancing. The state closed casinos across the state from Biloxi to Tunica. The only people on the floor of the casino, employees. Looked more like a ghost town because of that. Still unclear when the casinos will reopen to the public. And now we're moving up north to the Midwest, and most of us can say there's been nothing in our lifetime as far as the magnitude of this coronavirus. Unprecedented for sure. To show you the fear it's causing for health professionals, I want to show you some video from Cleveland, Ohio. Drive-through testing site lines at 2 of the city's biggest hospitals hit capacity. Drivers in some of these cars waited for some 6 hours to be tested. Those patients now must wait 5 days to get their results.
And in about 2.5 hours, Huntsville Hospital will open a fever and flu clinic. Starting at 9 a.m., you can be tested for COVID-19. You must be showing symptoms, though. And just a warning, though, not all patients who show up will be tested. The clinic is at the corner of Governor's Drive and Franklin Street, right across from the hospital campus. And one Valley woman says she had all the signs of coronavirus but could not find someone willing to test her. She says she got the runaround over the weekend trying to find help. And since she works at a shelter around young and the elderly, she wanted peace of mind. She thought she was showing early symptoms of COVID-19, but at the ER, she was only tested for the flu. Right now, she was currently self-quarantining.
There are vulnerable people at the shelter, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't sick and carrying that back to them. And I also met other qualifications for testing in that I have diabetes, I'm 51, and I have Graves' disease, so I'm immunocompromised.
Now, she says she is doing better this morning, but still not out of the woods yet. The 48 News learned there are lots of state lab testing being completed, but it's up to clinical judgment to be issued a test in the first place.
No secret out there, the gyms have a lot of germs, but workout facilities across the state are still open, even as other gathering places like churches and schools have closed up shop. So 48's Eric Graves, he's been talking to gym directors about what steps are being made to make the environment there as sanitary and as clean as possible. Eric joins us now live from the YMCA. Eric, good morning.
Hey Trent, good morning to you live here at the Hogan YMCA. Usually a pretty popular time, but right now about less than 10 people here. You're definitely not going to have to fight over a treadmill here right now. I talked to Daniel Casambera, who is the director here at this YMCA. He's talking about what they're doing to keep things as clean as possible. Government leaders in Ohio, New York, and Iowa have asked for gyms to close down. So far, though, Governor Ivey and the Alabama Department of Health have made no such request. Casambera acknowledges they have seen a drop in people coming to the gym, but there are still people coming to get their workout in who are grateful the facility is still open. He says they've increased full service cleanings in the evenings and ramped up staff cleanings throughout the day. They have canceled group classes to respect the social distancing 6 feet apart rules that are now suggested. They also have more sanitary stations where you can get a pump of Purell to clean your hands. Casambera says it's about staff and guests working together to keep everything as clean as possible.
We have staff throughout the day that are coming in there, wiping down machines, encouraging our members to wipe the machines after workouts, and making sure that we take care of our business at hand. We also have sanitary stations as well as signage, just encouraging members to clean machines, to wash their hands, just take care of each other.
Casambera says they are preparing for the possibility of a shutdown, and even if they do shut down, they will continue to serve the community by offering child care services for those nurses, EMTs, and first responders who are going to continue to work through this coronavirus outbreak. For more information, you can go to WAFF.com. Reporting live here from the Hogan YMCA, Eric Graves, WAFF 48 News.
Eric, thank you so much. And regardless of the number of things closing down, we know some services, like Eric just mentioned, public safety, healthcare, they can't shut down. WAFF 48's Caroline Clapp talked with the public information officer for Huntsville Police Department. And Caroline, you can't exactly social distance yourself when you're cracking down on crime. We need our police officers, right?
Yes, Haley, you're absolutely right. And police really aren't letting go of the small stuff right now either. So if you're caught speeding, you still could get a ticket, but police are giving you, and the courts are giving you, a little bit more time to take care of it. A lot of you are asking, what about expired tags? The courthouse is closed, but there are other license and tag locations still open, and you can renew online. Lieutenant Michael Johnson says officers are not changing how they make decisions in terms of giving tickets, but he says the virus is affecting some of the department's routine. Lieutenant Johnson says the officers have suspended group roll calls, and all officers have been given gloves, with more on the way. Bottom line, Johnson says this virus is not an excuse to break the law.
Our officers are going to still use the same manner of discretion they've been using before. It's going to be on the scheduling side of our court system is what's going to be a little bit different. We still are encouraging the public to give us a call. Our police services overall have not been significantly impacted by this right now. We're still here to serve and protect the public.
The municipal public safety complex is still open, so if you have a ticket you need to get taken care of, you can go there. Reporting live, I'm Caroline Clapp for WAFF 48 News.
All right, Caroline, thank you so much. Turning our focus now to Morgan County, where deputies with the sheriff's office did their part to make sure that no one is going hungry right now. Deputies driving all over the county from Decatur to Union Hill to help seniors affected by the senior center closure. You see how grateful they are. Deputies say it's a real blessing to help these people.
Well, new this morning, police in Morgan County, they are cracking down on the sale of drugs in your neighborhood. Hartselle Police, with the assistance of the Morgan County Drug Task Force, arrested Cecil Dotson. Hartselle Police say they believe they have been investigating